Yay.
Yay! Welcome, Hattie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Will you introduce yourself? Oh, we're still, let's see, still kind of going. All right, I think we are live. This is our first time doing a Facebook Live using this interface, so thank you everybody for your patience. I'm Autumn Whitt-Boyd. I'm an attorney. If you're in the group, this is our Facebook group for legal questions. And I'm joined today by Hattie Denson. So introduce yourself, Hattie, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Hattie. I live in Canada and I run a marketing agency where we specialize in paid Facebook and Instagram ads. So all those beautiful sponsored posts you see and those targeted ads, that's me.
Excellent. And Hattie has been working with our firm's marketing director, Sarah Kate, helping us with our Facebook ads, and they are going bananas. So thank you.
I heard that. That's so great.
Yeah, we just did a bunch of new stuff and turned them on, and they're doing great. So Hattie and Sarah Kate had talked about all the new changes that are coming out with, if you have an iPhone like me, with the new operating system that has not dropped yet, but is dropping very shortly, and is going to change a lot of things with how we run ads. And if you are just a person who has an iPhone or an iPad or another device, it may change how you receive advertising too. So this is not just for people running ads. So Hattie, can you just kind of give us an overview of some of the changes, when they're coming, what we should be expecting?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, Apple and Facebook have been fighting for a long time about,
do you know the background of some of this, Hattie? Like, what kind of spurned this?
I just think Apple likes to have a lot of control, as every big company does. And a lot of consumers, we have a love-hate relationship with advertising. We love it, but then we hate it. We love when it's on point, but then we hate when we get advertised something. So I think Apple they've been fighting, and Facebook is really, we have Facebook pixels. So Facebook's really good at tracking you. Everyone complains, oh my God, they're listening to my phone. No, they're just really, really good at tracking everything you do on your phone.
Yeah. And for someone who maybe doesn't know what a pixel is, Hattie, super basic.
Okay, so a Facebook pixel is just this little code that goes on, it's a tracking pixel. So it goes inside e-commerce websites. Autumn, you have a pixel. So anyone that lands on a website, if they're searching, then the pixel fires, basically captures that data, and then you're able to show them ads or show them relevant things that they were just interested in. So it's basically a tracking pixel that is tracking everything you do.
I know that a site has a pixel because I'm if you notice, it always happens to me with if I'm bra shopping or something embarrassing, and then you go to a totally unrelated website and there's all the things you were just looking at, and you're like, okay, that is the pixel at work, right?
Yes, it's if you Google that watch, or even if you we Google scotches all the time, and scotches from Scotland will pop up, and they just follow you around the internet. They're retargeting you. They'll find you. Yeah. And that's the power of the pixel at work.
Yeah. So it is the nice thing, I will say, I mean, you and I were talking just before we hit go live, the good people kind of demonize the pixel and the tracking, but there are some good things about it too. If you are interested in scotch and then all of a sudden you're learning about all these brands that maybe you had never heard of, that's great.
Oh yeah, I love, especially, okay, I love advertising. A, I'm in it, but B, I like shopping and getting advertised things that I might like to purchase. And I've actually tailored Facebook and Instagram ads. If I receive an ad that I'm not interested in, if you just click in the right-hand corner with the three dots, you can say, I actually am not interested in this. So I've tailored, so you can tailor exactly. If you see, maybe you're not into motorcycles, but you're into scotches, but you start getting advertised motorcycles, you can say, actually, I'm not interested in this. So everything on my feed is catered to me. I'm loving my feed for advertisements. But I know that there's a love-hate relationship. People get creeped out that we're watching you. And but yeah, so the iOS 14 updates will give you the capability to turn off tracking, meaning those cookies that you hear about and the pixel that we just talked about. The new Apple phones will not be able to track your Google searches, or if you Googled that bra, we won't be able to re-advertise to you about that bra. It doesn't mean that you won't see ads. Unfortunately, you'll still keep to see ads. Facebook and Instagram are free platforms. That's how they make their money. they just won't. I think it's a negative thing. If you turn that off, you won't be able to see the beautiful bra you were just shopping for.
Or like we do a lot of research for our clients. We work with mostly online course creators and coaches. And so sometimes I will, be researching infringers or something. And then all of their ads pop up, which is kind of helpful.
Yes, especially I get people at Christmas time too saying, oh, I needed this gift for my dad. I just spoke into the phone and all of a sudden it was there. I'm like, well, that's not quite how it works, but yeah, it probably is helpful.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
ads work.
So this is only for Apple devices, correct? This new change.
Yes, somehow, and I don't know how. I mean, it's above my bandwidth how iOS was able to, I don't know how they were able to get people to opt out of it.
So I did some research on this, Hattie. So I
All right.
Yes.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah. So basically, when you use an Apple device, you have to agree to their terms and conditions. It's like a contract to be,
right.
And it's like, even though you bought the device, it will not work if you don't agree to their operating system.
Okay.
So every time they do an update, now you have the choice not to download the update. But if you don't download it, things will start to break because everything is going to be updated to work with the new iOS.
Right.
Yeah. So they're going to require that you accept those terms and conditions. And as part of that, this is just a new. And then the flip side of that is if you are an app developer, so like Facebook is an app, to be in the iOS store, for me to be able to download your app on my phone or on my iPad, I, as the app developer, have to agree to those terms. So it's basically like, take it or leave it. Like if you want to play in their ecosystem, you have to agree to their rules.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's why there was a lot of like clickbait headlines like Apple and Facebook are fighting, like all this stuff. So that makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Apple and Facebook has not been great with privacy in the past. And
I know.
Maybe still today. I mean, I think we all remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal where, lots of data was being shared and sold without anyone's permission. So it sounds like Apple is trying to be a bit of a white knight here. Like, we protect your privacy. We're going to be the good guy. Facebook's the bad guy. And
right.
Like, nobody's really the good guy or the bad guy. Like,
yeah,
we're all selling and using our data. But it is, I think we're seeing a trend. We see this with GDPR, the data regulation in the European Union. We see it, Canada, where you live, has some new data privacy rules. California is coming out with. Like, the trend is towards giving people more control over their data and their privacy. So I think this is just part of that. And as advertisers, we have to adapt, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's just going to be different. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to strategize new ways as advertisers to keep people. The way we're kind of leaning is we used to do retargeting ads. So that watch that you Googled would follow you around the internet with ads. Now what we're trying to play with before the updates come into full effect this summer is keeping it inside Facebook or Instagram, meaning using more chat bots.
Yeah, talk about that, some strategies that you're thinking about.
Yeah, so chat bots, I've been testing them the last year. We've had some amazing luck with them because they're instant gratification for people. Like, we have short attention spans. So if you have a good chat bot that is answering the questions before the user is even anticipating that they want to know that, we've had some really great responses and then they're able to click in the information. So oh, sorry, did I freeze?
That's okay.
Oh, okay. So keeping your advertising in Facebook and Instagram with a form that's in, so that they don't have to leave the app.
You don't have to leave, yeah.
Is kind of how advertisers are playing around now. But for small businesses,
I saw Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's founder, was making some comments that, like, this was just this week, that, and maybe he's full of bluster. He's trying to make, lemonade out of lemons. But he said he thinks, it may not hurt their ad revenues at all, that people will just shift and do more within Facebook. And he would love that if no one's leaving the Facebook platform.
You know what? Facebook has been pushing us, and Instagram, for years. Like, they introduced Reels now. They want us to stay on their app. So I don't think it's going to hurt us too much. I know everyone's kind of freaking out, but I don't think it's everything adapts. Facebook and Instagram have changed so many times over the years. There is always like Facebook is $1 billion company. They're going to make sure that we can advertise properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be okay. We'll get through it.
So are there some tips just for users? So let's say I'm just a normal Jane, not running ads, but I want to make sure I still see ads that are relevant to me. What are kind of some recommendations there? And this, again, this hasn't happened yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, so I'm actually an Android user, so this won't affect me too much. But from what I think about is I would toggle it on and I would start to curate. So when they ask you, are you okay with, I think Facebook has a pop-up and it says, are you okay with tracking? And you can toggle it on and off. I would toggle it on, especially if you do like being served ads that are relevant. And if you find an ad that's not relevant to you, I would just go into the top right-hand corner, the 3 dots, and say, this ad isn't relevant to me. Don't show it to me again. And you can actually tell Facebook why it's not relevant to you, like I'm not interested or not the right time, and really curate your feed. So I hear a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm so annoyed with all these advertisements. I'm like, curate it. It'll be really nice then when you go on.
Yeah, I pulled the little pop-up that's going to start showing up if you do have an iOS, and it says basically like allow whatever app. So we're talking about Facebook to track your activity across other companies' apps and websites. So it sounds really scary. And then you can say ask app not to track. That's the top option. So I think they're thinking most people will click that, or you can click allow. So there you might want to, and it's a setting you can change. So you can try it for a little bit. And then, or you can turn it off for a little bit and see, what you think. You can turn it on and off.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the new update came somehow to my friend, but him and his wife were searching for outdoor lawn patio. It's getting nicer, it's spring, and she had an Android, and she was getting advertisements for all these beautiful lawn furnitures. And he's like, I'm not getting any. Why aren't I getting any? And she's like, because you turned your toggle off.
I think they are like beta testing it a little bit. So it would surprise me if some people are starting to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, because even in the back end of Ads Manager, like one day we'll have great results and one day we won't. And we're like, oh, it's okay. They're just testing something. New iOS update.
Yeah, but so the big changes in the past, you didn't have to do anything to get, served these ads. And now you will have to opt in, and it's for each app. So you have a choice. So you could like allow Facebook to serve you ads and not Instagram.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes Instagram is more your photos or your family, whereas maybe Facebook, you go on for blogs and groups. So maybe you do want advertisements on Facebook. That's a really good point. I like that.
It's interesting. So if we are running ads, tell us, are you starting to see some best practices or some recommendations there? What can we do to get ready?
So there's a resource center in Facebook, Business Facebook Ads Manager that they want us all to start doing. And some of our accounts we can't even run if we don't shift. So basically, I would suggest if you are running ads, go to that resource center and walk through the steps. You have to turn on 2-factor authentication, you have to verify your domain. You have to set up, we used to be able to track like add to cart, initiate checkout, like all these different events. But now we'll only be able to track 8.
Yeah.
For small business owners, I don't think that's going to affect us. We really only looked at like 4, like leads, purchases. So that's not going to affect us, but you do have to choose your 8. So it's just making you go through those steps. And then I would start, so once you've set up kind of the back end so that Facebook doesn't penalize you and stop your ads, I would start playing around with chat bots.
And are those like they give automated answers to questions, or is that a real person?
So it's all automated. So as soon as someone clicks on your ad, a little messenger pops up in Facebook. You can also do WhatsApp. So Facebook owns WhatsApp, so you could do WhatsApp SMS messaging. But so for the chat bot, when they click on the ad, a little messenger pops up and says, hey, we saw that you were interested in our kitchen designs. Would you like to talk to our designer or our tiler or our countertop specialist? And then they can actually click. It's like multiple choice, or they can write it. They're pretty sophisticated. And now you don't have to download a third-party app. It's all in Facebook too, chatbots. So you can set up the chatbot behind the scenes. And it's really, they're working really well for us because people sometimes click the ads, but no follow through on the website. But the chatbot kind of reminds, hey, we saw that you were looking for this. Like you can set it 24, 48, 7 days later.
Or you can have it pop up later as a little reminder. That's very cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of working as a tracking device in itself. The other way that you can do is that we've been testing is chatbots as well as the lead forms. Lead forms have been around for a while in Facebook, but now they're kind of making them slicker and smoother.
So is that like an email opt-in, Hattie?
Yeah, so basically instead of a landing page on your website, it'll be just a little form landing page inside Facebook. So when you click on the ad, a little pop-up pops up and says, hey, we saw that you were interested in this. Download this for free. What's your name? What's your email? And then you can connect Zapier to your email marketing program. So it'll take the lead from Facebook, it'll zap it, connect it to your Facebook. So there's workarounds. I'm not worried.
That's very cool. Well, that was a question when I was doing some reading about this yesterday. I saw, with only the 8 things you can track now, for someone like even, I mean, we don't do a ton of Facebook advertising, but we do have a lot of different landing pages that we're sending people to. And like those count as part of your 8, right? Or am I reading that wrong?
No. So the 8 events are like a lead.
So they're the actions.
Yeah. So your landing pages are probably set up all as leads, unless you've done custom conversions, which Sarah might have done. And then those do count for events. But when this new does,
we still have 25 landing pages, but maybe I want to switch those to forms in Facebook.
You could switch them to forms or just change them all to a lead, like a lead event.
Yeah. And that's not going to mess anything up.
Yeah. But I think you might want to switch them over to forms. Because we
might do some testing on that. I like that idea.
Yeah. And maybe you could even try like a chatbot saying, hey, which contract are you interested in? Or what's your business? And then here's the contract for you. Like the chatbot could answer all of that for you.
Like this. Poor Sarah Kate didn't know that she was going to come out with a to-do list from our chat. This is great. Something else that I saw, Hattie, was talking about how Facebook is now, since they can't track if someone turns off on their iPhone, turns off the tracking, that they're going to do some kind of like aggregated tracking, but you may have to like enable that. So tell me about that if you know anything.
Yeah, so that is choosing the 8 events, like actions. And it'll walk you through if you are running ads in the resource center, where we see that beautiful pixel and we see, oh, we've had 8,000 views this month. There'll just be a little tab that says aggregated event manager, and you'll click it. And that is just choosing the 8 that resonate best with what ads you're running. Gotcha. So again, I don't think it'll affect smaller businesses too much. It's more the big brands who are tracking like all 48 and have like $1 million ad spend.
Right. A million different versions. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now tell me the other thing that I was reading about, and I thought this was interesting because we kind of haven't bothered with this because Facebook's tracking was so good, but starting to use more native tracking. So like maybe adding Google Analytics to your website to do some tracking, or, using other tools and not relying on Facebook's tracking so much.
Absolutely. We've already started doing that because we can't I've already seen the numbers be so skewed. I'm like, wait, you said 40 emails, but in the email list, we've got 60. So
yeah, we saw that this week with our new campaign. Yeah, they were like, yeah, you got 100 new leads. We're like, well, we only have, 16 in ConvertKit. So
yeah,
it's off there.
Yeah. So it's going to be more work on our end until someone develops a nice app that we can probably use. But we've already started using Google Analytics like religiously. It is, did you double check it with Google Analytics? Well, it doesn't matter what ads manager, did you check Google Analytics? So yeah, it's going to be, I'm even thinking I got to like brush up on Google Analytics because they've changed too.
Oh, it's always changing. Yeah. But like you can't rely on those metrics in Ads Manager, especially like return on ad spend and some of those calculations. Like you really need to double check those.
Yes. Yeah. We've been doing a lot of manual calculations, which is a nice exercise for the brain, bringing out the calculator.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely it's more manual work now. So we're working on spreadsheets to try to input the data and then calculate it.
It can magically work.
Yeah.
Are you worried about, so with I'll tell you, like some of our most effective campaigns have been lookalike audiences and other kinds of custom audiences. So can you talk about how that might, I mean, is that just kind of going to go away? Because now
I
it's going
know.
to be all skewed, or what does that look like?
What I think is going to happen is we still have like, I think 50% are still Android users. So
Yeah.
50% will still be able to be part of that lookalike audience. So, you know, a lot of the people we work with, we're only targeting 500,000 to 1 million users to make sure their ad spend goes as far as they can. So I don't think it's going to affect it. Maybe we'll go to 1 million to 2 million users in the lookalike audience so that we capture more Android users.
Well, I even saw a recommendation, like maybe you split out, because can you select that in Ads Manager? You say, I only want this ad to go to Android users.
Oh yeah, that's a really good
Is that an
idea.
option? I'm giving you.
I know. Like, thank you. That's a really great idea. I'm not sure whether you can do that in the lookalike audience section.
That may be an option in some.
But probably. That's a
But again,
really
like I kind of wonder, like, are Android users different than iPhone? Like, I don't even know what our audience is made up of. I haven't looked at that, but that would be interesting.
yeah, I am worried about the lookalike because we get such high return on that. But if you're good at your interests, and I find that the Facebook and the Instagram algorithm is getting so smart that you almost just have to give it kind of a region, and it reads your photo, it reads your text, and it's able to show it exactly who it thinks it should be shown to. So, you
Yeah.
know, I know the lookalike, that's a real bummer, but I mean, it's a really strong algorithm now, so I still think we'll be okay.
Well, and like you said, like Facebook's and Instagram's and WhatsApp, like all these companies that are under this umbrella, their business model is selling ads. And so they are going to work on this. They're going to figure out workarounds, and they're going to do their best to make sure that we can
Yes.
still serve ads, and, you know, not everyone just flees the platform. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I know. And they're working so hard, like on Reels, and they just brought out lives that you can do 3 or 4 people, and like they're really
Like what
they're
we're
gonna make
doing now, we were able to do this. Sarah Kate and I were talking yesterday, and we used to use a third-party app called Ecamm to do like Facebook Lives with other people. And so we were looking at it, and I was like, I think we can do this. Like we're doing this just in Facebook's tool. Like it's nothing fancy. So
oh
yeah,
good.
I
See,
know they're coming
yeah,
out
it's
with
happening.
new better things all the time
Yeah,
to keep you in Facebook.
yeah, because we used to have to use like Zoom to do live
Right.
on
Yeah, we looked at
Facebook.
Zoom or Skype or yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they're going to. I mean, all of their money is advertising dollars. They're gonna make it work for us. So yeah, yeah.
Any other tips or recommendations that you have, Hattie, coming up with? Do we know when this is going to happen? We don't really.
I don't
Like it's
think.
a mystery, right?
Yeah, there is so much speculation and so much unknown still, unfortunately. So I have a lot of like our past students come to me and I'm like, guys, I don't know much yet. There's still so much unknown. I don't even think Apple or Facebook really knows what will happen when it drops. So like it's just yeah.
We will all
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you are running ads and you're not preparing for this, it's time to start thinking about it, right? Taking some of those steps. Yeah.
And start experimenting before the update comes into play with the chatbots, with the lead forms, because once the update comes into play, your results will be a little more skewed, and you'll have to like manually look in Google Analytics and all of your emails. And so I would start playing around with it now. Budget, 30% of your ad spend towards these different avenues, and yeah.
That is great advice. Well, Hattie, if someone wants to learn more about you or your business, tell them how you work with people and where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, follow me on Instagram. I'm at Funstons. You can kind of read it in the background.
Yeah.
And May 3rd, I am actually having a live 5-day ads class where we launch and learn about 2 ad campaigns. One is the cold traffic, getting new eyeballs and growing your list. And the other is the lead forms, the chat bots, and the retargeting, because that's not over yet. And it's for 5 days, and it's all live because ads are confusing. So yeah, and that's happening May 3rd.
Excellent. Well, I know Sarah Kate went through, I don't know if you still offer it, if you want to talk about that, went through, I think it was a short program with a small group that you ran
Yeah, that's exactly
raved
what.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was star student. Yeah, so that's the program that's happening on May 3rd.
Okay, great.
And it was, yeah, a lot of people either send their marketing managers or their VAs, or they run it themselves for the e-commerce business. So it's a whole, there's only 15 in the class
Okay, yeah.
because it's so personalized, and I really want to focus getting them the best ads up and running.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was one thing I was going to ask you. We sell digital products, so contract templates in our on our website, and it's been a little tricky to add them to Facebook because, like, as an e-commerce item that you could buy right from Facebook.
I know. I don't think
So yeah, I don't
Facebook.
know if you have any. And the last time we tried to add them all at, like, as a store, they said basically like, we don't want your we don't want your digital products.
Yeah, I bet Facebook will change that by the time the new iOS comes
Mhm.
out, knowing
So
that we
that
need to
people
keep
stay.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you
That's a
can't do
good
it
point.
right
I
now.
know that, like, I think it's a big scam risk, which is why they don't want it, but I know
Yeah,
it'll change.
I think so. It's gotta, because a lot of us are selling digital products and they want us to keep advertising. They want to keep us on the app.
Yep.
So Facebook, if you're listening.
They're always listening. I know. I've got my iPhone, so I'm probably going to see an ad momentarily for digital.
Digital.
Awesome. So is social the best way to find you, Hattie? Do you want to include your website as
Yeah,
well?
or if you wanted to work one-on-one with me, if you have a lot of ads you want to run, I offer monthly retainers, which includes a lot.
All the time.
But my website is funstonsmarketing.com.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was really fun, and we'll get this shared out. I'm hoping we can share it to other things in at least
Awesome.
the Facebook and Instagram ecosystem. But thank you for your insights. This was really fun. It was good to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Autumn. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.